Hey, this is End of the Road Haunts, and today I'm doing a tier list of Spirit Halloween 2020 animatronics. I meant to do a lot more of these videos than I ended up doing, because so far I've only done one. I was planning to kind of go down the years, like I do 2023, then 2022, 2021. But I didn't really want to do 2022 or 2021 because they're the kind of thing that they're like too new to be like, oh wow, so old, but like too old to be like new and topical. So they're just kind of I really want to talk about them. But it's my channel. I can do what I want. So yeah, sucks to be you then. Anyways, today I'm ranking the 2020 Spirit animatronics. You probably have seen ranking videos before, maybe from me. And let's get into this. Number one, we have Clowning Around, which I must say, okay, I'll put him in the S tier for holding, although he isn't like, I mean, I must say, Clowning Around, I was kind of cold on him when he first came out, but like a year, 2 years after he was first revealed, I started to really like him, honestly, and he became one of my favorite clown props they've ever done. Because, like, sure, he's a little on the goofier side, but I like that he's genuinely funny. I genuinely like his phrases. I find him an actually funny character. Like, oh, you almost hurt my feelings, if I had any. Or, should I put these tykes in the box? Or the box? Please ignore the voice crack. But yeah, I just find this guy genuinely funny. And he's also really menacing looking, kind of has the Art the Clown look to him. So I quite like him. I'm going to put him at A tier. Maybe not an S, but he's an A. I find him really cool. Next is Ellie Hatchet, which I'd say is a C tier. She's not awful. Her face is a little weird. I'm not the biggest fan of her audio, but she's not a bad concept. Yeah, she's not bad, but I'm just putting her in C tier because, I want to make it clear, C tier isn't terrible. It's just not the best, but it's an okay prop. Next, we have the Flesh-Eating Zombie remake, which I know some people really like, some people really don't. I'm going to put him at B tier because I do personally like the original more. And the remake isn't bad. He's just not anything to write home about, in my opinion. Not a terrible remake. Not awful. It's just kind of like, whatever. The next one is Fright in the Box, which I've heard rumors is returning this year. I know Clowning Around is, but I don't know about Fright in the Box. He's okay. Some people really do like him. I'm not the... he was cool in person. He has a cool concept. So I think I'll put him at B, honestly. Like, he's a cool enough prop. His head sculpt looks cool. It's a decent jump scare. I like the, turning of the crank. But he's a pretty neat prop. Oh boy. The next one is, you know what? Screw it. I'm saving him for the end, I think. Because, just gotta build our way up. But, yeah, okay. The next one is Lil Daisy and the Maestro, which is a really underrated one. I think if you caught me at the right time, I would have put it at S tier. But I think I'm just going to put him at A because he's a really cool concept, really cool phrases, good animation. It's just that his face and the kid's face look a little off. They just look a little weird, personally. But that's really it. Other than that, he's sick. Like, a really cool concept. It would be sick if they did something like this again. Liked his clothes, detail. He was just a very, very cool prop. Next is Miserable Marie, which isn't a bad prop, but I think I'll put her at C tier as well. Because she's not bad, she's not terrible, but she just looked kind of cheap. I don't know if I'd want to say Sunstar quality, because that's quite the insult. But she just didn't, I don't know. She didn't seem very, like her body didn't seem very well built. And I don't know. She wasn't terrible. Like, she served her purpose, but I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Miserable Marie, personally. Next is Miss Mercy, which is one that a lot of people really like. She's always left me a little cold. Like, I've never found her as terrifying as some other people. So she's a really hard one to place because I don't think about her a lot as a prop. I'd have to say I feel like she's a little too good to put in B tier. So maybe I'd give her like a B plus. But yeah, there's nothing that can really, like, I don't personally love her, but I can't in good conscience put her on the, yeah, I'll put her at A tier. Like, kind of a low A tier, but I think I'd still put her there. She's just pretty solid. And there's no, she had the customizable eyes, kind of. And so there's really no reason to, like, put her really low or anything. Next is Mommy's Favorite, which is one that a lot of people really didn't like. Which I kind of disagree with, honestly, because, like, she wasn't terrible, but, I mean, yeah. She didn't have a lot going for her. Her concept was kind of cool-ish. I'll just... maybe D tier. I don't know. Because her concept was okay, but she just looked kind of, well, not anything to write home about. So I wouldn't really say she's terrible. I don't hate her with every fiber of my being. But she's just kind of meh. Like, okay. The next one on the list is Nightcrawler, who I must say is the list's first S tier. Because, I mean, Spirit has made a ton of merch of this guy, but I feel like it's actually deserved. Because he's a really cool prop, really nightmarish. I have him, and he is a pain to set up, but he is really cool to display as well. He's just a really cool looking character. A neat jump scare. I like the audio. He's just such an original prop, and I really like weird monster props. So I'm quite the fan of Nightcrawler. He's one of my favorite Spirit props of all time. I really like him. Okay. The next one is a very weird one. Which is Peekaboo Clown, who I've shot my mouth off a lot about. And I've said it, how, like, I don't like his phrases and stuff. But oh my god, he looks so cool. And he's, like, he has a really cool color scheme. The digital eyes, I mean, I could call them weird and goofy, but they're so cool in person. I remember genuinely really wanting this guy when I saw him. And so it really depends which day you catch me. If I'm feeling salty, I'd put him in C tier, or maybe even lower. If you caught me in a positive mood, I'd put him maybe B or even A tier. So you know what? This is my channel. I do what I want. So Peekaboo Clown is going in the Peekaboo Clown tier. No other props will go in this tier, just Peekaboo. Because I just can't make up my decision. It really matters which side of the bed I wake up on. So I'm just putting him dead splat in the middle. Because I can make a case for him being really cool, but I can also make a case for him being really stupid. So just meet in the middle, boom. Okay, the next one is a Plague Doctor, who is a really cool static prop that I really loved when he first came out. I'd put A tier. It would be really nice for him to have some, like, further animation. But, he was a cool static prop. I really wanted to get him immediately, but I didn't end up getting him for some reason. But, yeah, he's just really cool. The fogging effect is cool. He had great animation. I should really make more Plague Doctors. Yeah. I mean, I know some people would put him in S tier, and, maybe some days I would, but he was just really solid. I like static props. Ooh. Okay, the next one here is Krampus, who, I'll be honest, this is going to sound kind of crazy. I honestly think is another S tier. Out of all the Spirit license props they've done, he is one of my favorites. Like, Krampus is a cool enough character from the movie. Like, the movie's pretty good. It's nothing, amazing, but it's a fun movie for Christmas. Especially if you like more creepy stuff. But Krampus is just such a cool animatronic with how big he is. And, like, he's really accurate to the film. And he's just, I don't know. Seeing him in person, I just really love Krampus, honestly. He's such a cool prop, in my opinion. Okay, the next one is Punctured Pete. Who was one that kind of grew off on me as time went on. But honestly, he's not bad. I wish he'd have a little more blood on him. So I think I'd maybe put him at B tier. I'd say maybe a very high B, like overfried in the box. I don't know if I could say he's overfried in the box, but he's a pretty cool one. Not the best, his animation is like pretty cool, but he's not very. I don't know. Maybe he goes overfried in the box. I don't know. Sure, that looks decent. But yeah, he was pretty neat. I wanted him for quite a little while, but eventually kind of like, eh. Next one is the black and red jumping spider. Okay, ranking jumping spiders is really weird. Because the thing is, they've always been here. They've always been at Spirit, and I feel like they always will. And, like, sure, they're a staple, they're iconic, but they're nothing to write home about. Like, they're really just, kind of, So, honestly, compared to... I mean, they get the point across, and they do well. But, like, if you could have any other animatronic or the jumping spider, you'd probably pick any other animatronic. So, it's cool to have variety, but just by, like, I don't stay awake at night thinking about how much I want the spider. Or, like, I mean, I do have it, but even so, I don't think about how much I want to set it up again. So, I'm honestly going to put it at the D tier, and that's not to say the jumping spider's bad. It's just, it's kind of like, whatever. It's a neat jump scare, but it's always been at Spirit, always will be. Okay, the next one here is Angeline. Which I'm gonna be honest, I might put at F tier. I just really didn't like her. Because, like, I mean, her phrases, now that I think about them, aren't terrible. She just looks bad. Party City did their own thing beforehand, and so Spirit kind of copied them with that. And the Party City one just looked so much better. And was just so much cooler. So, yeah. I don't know. Angeline's kind of a ripoff. I don't really like her. Her face sucks. Duh. Next is Sewer Varmint, which is probably a B. Cool concept. He's a rat, a pretty cool looking rat. But, that's pretty much all that it is with him. He's just a rat. He's a rat with two heads that flogs, which is pretty cool. But there's nothing that would really set him to, like, A or S. But he's a cool thing for what he is. Okay, next is the Butcher. I might put at A tier, because his body did look pretty weird, but I liked his phrases. He looked cool. His animation was simple, but, like, you can never go really wrong. It's a good Butcher prop, in my opinion. I liked him. He was cool. Yeah, I like Butchers, right? I like bloody props. So sure, he isn't that gory, but I don't know. I like the Butcher. I find him a cool prop. Next is the Gatekeeper. And this is going to be a really unpopular opinion, but I think I might say C or maybe D tier. I mean, he's not awful enough to go into, like, D. I think he's a cool enough prop, but I just don't feel him. Like, he's not a prop that I find very interesting. I like Reapers and Phantoms, but I've always just been kind of bored by him, honestly. I just find him kind of a boring prop. Like, honestly, I just find him straight up dull. And so, like, I can see why people might really like him, but he's just a C tier for me. I felt nothing when he came back. Okay, the next cannot be said for the next one. Harvester of Souls. Which I gotta say, I feel like, this is an opinion video and all, but objectively speaking, I think Harvester of Souls might be the coolest prop Spirit has ever sold. So for that reason, I am putting him in S tier. Top of S tier. Like, this guy is hands down best of 2020. I have him, love him. He's just, sure, he's not the scariest, but he's just so cool. Like, he's got enough creepiness to him with sucking the soul out of the child, but he's just so cool. You know, you can't put it any other way. He's just awesome. Honestly. The next one we have here is the Hauntress, which is a neat jump scare. She's a pretty cool jump scare. She looks pretty alright, but, you know, she's pretty much just a mask on a stick, kind of. But cool jump scare, so I don't know. It's unexpected. I'll put her at B tier. Because, hey, you know, she's cool enough, right? Cool jump scare, but I've never really, you know, I don't think about it a lot as a prop. Forgot about it a few times. Yeah, I mean, she's kind of neat. I can understand why one would love her, but I don't know. The next one is Twisted Tina, who is probably a D tier. She's not horrendous. I wouldn't put her at F because she doesn't do enough terribly. And she's a static prop, and statics are okay. But she just kind of looks like a slightly weird looking woman. So she's not that compelling and like that cool as a prop. I don't know. She's just kind of you know. Okay, next is Uncle Charlie, the remake. Okay, I can't put him in the peekaboo clown tier because, you know, I'd probably put him at the top of C tier, just narrowly skirting out of B, just because the original was cool because it was like a fat old dude, you know? But when they kind of made him skinnier, gave him a six-pack, he just kind of lost a lot of the charm that the old one had. So now he's just kind of a clown with a candy bucket, which at this time period there were a lot of clowns, so we didn't necessarily really need another. It's like if this prop wasn't Uncle Charlie, I don't think people would have cared about him that much. Honestly. Maybe that's a hot take, but whatever. Okay, the next one here is the only Morris prop on the list, which is weird because I swear they sold more this year, like Catacomb Creature, Lumen Clown, maybe some others. He's the only Morris prop on here. And I'd give him a B tier, maybe like higher B tier, possibly. And I don't think about him a lot, but he's a cool prop. I've actually found myself having spurts of like really wanting him because he's a cool phantom. I like his animation, the digital eyes are neat. And yeah, he's a pretty neat prop, honestly. Like he's a good classic phantom. Second last, we have Mr. Salty, who is quite the prop. Have to say maybe C tier. Because look, he looks cool enough. He has a cool concept. And his jokes are a little. Actually, I'm insane. I'm gonna put him at B tier. Because I'm gonna be honest. Like, sure, maybe he doesn't make me laugh, but it's kind of a. I'm immature, and the concept of him having a clown on his lower half called Willie, you gotta admit, it's funny. So, screw it. Yeah, he's B tier. And the next and final one is Johnny Punk, who I know, saving him for the end, you might think, oh, damn, he's really gonna go in. Honestly, though, the more I, you know, like, thought about it, the more I thought about this year, the more I saw videos of him, I genuinely kinda like him, question mark? Because, I mean, his voice acting isn't great. He could look a lot better. And he was a really big meme when he came out. But honestly, you gotta respect the originality of, like, a bully. Because that's, like, something different than we usually see. And I don't know, his mask was kind of neat. And, yeah, I guess he looked a little cheap. Thinking either C tier or B tier, but I at least gotta give it to him for originality. Because, like, I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Sure, he's not scary and the, like, I'm gonna rip your face off scary. But, you know, getting beat up sucks. Like, you know, bullies can be scary in their own right. Like, you know, the bullies from It and all that. So, yeah, I know that's crazy to say, but I think Johnny Punk is actually B tier. Because he's grown on me. I kind of like his character. It's a unique concept. Like, sure, maybe it wasn't executed very well, but hey, I find him kind of neat, honestly. So that's the 2020 tier list, a year I found myself wanting to talk about for some reason. Honestly, we all hated it when it came out, but in retrospect, 2020 was not that bad of a year, really. We had some not great ones. At the time, we had a lot of stinkers like Johnny Punk, and sure, some of them have risen as the years have gone by. But I genuinely think this year had some really cool props like Clowning Around, uh, Harvester of Souls, Nightcrawler, Krampus. And so, at least the ones where they hit hard. And I like that about this year. I feel like the theming wasn't great. The concept of an island was just weird. Sure, it could have been cooler if there wasn't COVID going on, but I don't know. The whole concept doesn't really work out for me. But you know what? The themes are either circus, carnival related, or just standard Halloween. I think people would have liked this year a lot more, honestly. And yeah, in retrospect, it's not that bad. So like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you think. Farewell.